Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. As you can see, I have a load of Stormvermin. This is actually from my stream the other day, and I thought it was an interesting one, because I was pretty surprised, actually, how well these guys performed. They never used to perform this well. I just sort of ignored Stormvermin for the most part. Well, apart from the halberds, actually. The halberds are great if you just have, you know, one unit just sat on some cannons. Those cannons are basically invincible. But yeah, the Stormvermin Sword and Shield, I find they never perform, you know, particularly well. But in this one, they actually do, and that was kind of cool. It came after I had a loss. I was bringing a ridiculous Vanguard Dwarf army, and yeah, he just had a load of Stormvermin, so my miners just got chewed to pieces. So yeah, that wasn't fun. But hey, I decided, hey, let's give them a go. So I brought a load of them. I'm against the Greenskins, and my worry was that he'd just bring a load of Black Orcs. And he's brought a load of Black Orcs, so this is going to be quite surprising to see how well these guys do. So anyway, so as you can see, I've got Warp Lightning Cannon, a load of Stormvermin with shields, sword and shields, then I've got halberds on the sides, I've got a couple of Skaven Slave Slingers. I like these guys, they're fun, they're good for harassing stuff, especially sort of lightly armoured skirmishing units like, you know, the Goblin Wolf Riders and stuff like that, which you often see. Also, just throw them at Mangy Marauders and you can just get some damage in, just cause a bit of problems. Same in the back here, just a load of Skaven Slaves, and some Skaven Slaves with spears as well. I've also got a Doom Wheel. The Warp Lightning Cannon was a bad choice on this map. I didn't look at the map before I selected it. It was a bit dumb. Whoops. Also, I got a Warlock Engineer, so basically just without Mortis Engine effect when he's in combat, and yeah, I think that's it actually. Did I bring Howling Warp Gale? I usually do. It's usually, you know, yeah, I did. Basically just to pin down Azag, that's usually all I bring that for, just in case, you know. But it's definitely worthwhile, because it's not that expensive, and the Warlock Engineer is still useful without any of the other spells, so I think it's great. Also, Skrulk. So Skrulk will be Skrulking, you know what Skrulk does. You know, he's got that horrible Liber Bubonicus that'll just tank an enemy lord, and he's also got the, you know, that AoE Mortis Engine-ish effect. So, should be pretty good. So, yeah, let's speed things up, and we'll talk about their army, because there's a bit of posturing here. He does sort of hide the trees a bit. So you can see he's got Black Orcs. I think he's got 4 units. He's got a couple of units of Trolls, so they can have some really good armor piercing, as well as the Black Orcs. So that's going to be very scary. And also, you can see he's got some Night Goblins hidden away in here as well. So, yeah, I think it's just 2 on there. He's got Goblin Big Boss, which will perform pretty well, sort of against, you know, assassins and things. They'll be able to harass stuff pretty well. And he's brought Wurzag, which is pretty cool as well. He's also got some Night Goblin Archers in the back. I think 2 units of them. Yep. So they'll be sneaking up on me. But of course, I actually brought a shielded heavy front line. So yeah, just having those cheap shield, you know, those cheap archers, they're not going to be able to cut through me very well, you know, without any armor piercing. So over here you can see he's also got some Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers. These guys will actually be pretty good in melee. They will be able to just mow through these guys, but luckily he's letting me just chase him around. Also over here you can see he's got some more Forest Goblin Spider Archers, and over here he's got some Goblin Wolf Riders, 2 units of them. So yeah, so great stuff for my slaves to chase around, which is nice. So my Doom Wheel, I'm just sort of waiting around. I'm running from side to side just to make sure these guys can't really get in, because these guys don't have the armor piercing to deal with the Doom Wheel, even though the Doom Wheel isn't really the best thing for this, you know. But it's fine, I can just run up and down for now while he's clambering up this hill. The Warp Lightning Cannon, luckily, is getting some shots in, so I'm getting some damage into the Trolls. When it does hit, it does a ton of work, but on this map it's difficult to hit them. But, you know, I want to get some damage on the Trolls early, because they're going to pack a real punch, but they're very easy to break. So if I can just hit them a bit with artillery, they're going to run away before they really get any damage in. So that's good. So here you can see the Night Goblins have charged in, so I'm going to charge in with everything. The Doom Wheel is scaring these guys, and it looks like I'm going to get a bit of a surround here as well. So you can see the Mortis Engine effect from the Warp Lightning, the Warlock Engineer is already starting to hit these guys, which is good. I want to sap these guys. Over here, he's still just trying to shoot at me randomly. I've got slingers shooting up at them. I'm just causing just a bit of mischief. But frankly, he's targeting the Warp Lightning Cannon with a lot of stuff, and you know, trying to find an in. But it doesn't really matter, because this guy's not going to get many shots off before he sort of goes wrong. Wurzag has already been Liber Bubonicus, so he's below half health already. So he really needs to keep Wurzag away from Skrulk. It's that simple. Skrulk has taken some damage, though. But you see, you know, the Night Goblins are getting taken out pretty well here. Here I get a nice surround. So the Night Goblins are gone, now it's just the Black Orcs in here, and with these guys surrounding them, they're going to do a lot of work. Fist of Gork has been used here to give them extra melee attack and defense, which is definitely going to hurt me. And I think also we see a Foot of Gork here in a second. Yeah, here we go. Oof. So that very much hurt them. But yeah, Doom Wheel comes in, it's going to do a ton of damage to the Black Orcs. With them surrounded, they're going to flee pretty quickly. But you see, over on this side, those Stormvermin with halberds, they couldn't hold up against the Black Orcs. Over here, though, with the help of Skrulk, these Stormvermin are holding out okay, and there's 2 units of Black Orcs in here. But they're not getting completely butchered. They are actually getting some damage in. Or at least they're, you know, buying enough time that my heroes and the Doom Wheel and things can do damage. So they're actually very good defensive units. Usually I just go with clan rats or something in the front line and just have more expensive sort of skirmishes and things like that. But frankly, I mean, looking at this, you know, the Warlock Engineer, he's really holding his own here. He's doing a lot of damage to these Black Orcs. Getting a nice surround on these guys now, because I still have the numbers. Which is crazy, you know, to think I've still got numbers on my side despite bringing all the Stormvermin. Obviously I had a lot of slaves that are, you know, causing a nuisance in the back line. But here you can see the Forest Goblin Spider Riders charge into the back, but with the Skaven Slave Spears and the other Skaven Slaves surrounding them, they do actually break. You know, they don't hold up well against units like this if they get surrounded. But they will hold up really well if you just cycle charge. So that's what you want to do. You just want to kill the slaves, you know, piecemeal. So over here you can see both of these units of Black Orcs are now fleeing. Another huge Footed Gork does a ton of damage to all my Stormvermin, but I've still got so many, and I've been summoning other units in the back, so I've got my Plague Monks, I've got my Clan Rats, so Skrulk can still bring fodder, you know? So I had just a load of units, so look, Plague Monks just been charging these Night Goblins the whole time, stopping them from being able to fire at anything. So it's pretty good. Here you can see the Doom Wheel is chasing Wurzag around, Lieber Bubonicus has hit him, so he's already shattered, and I think I just doubled back. But here you can see the Warlock Engineer is starting to suffer, but now these Goblin Riders are being tapped by everything, and now it's just these Black Orcs left. But it's pretty crazy to see how much damage these Black Orcs can take so quickly, sort of at times. You know, as soon as I get a surround on them, they just buckle, which is pretty great, you know, just having the numbers on your side, but something that's resilient. Like the Stormvermin, it's pretty great. So it's kind of weird having a match like this with Skaven, because you almost expect to run away every 5 minutes, you know? I kind of love the fact that they run away all the time, because then you just end up with a load of enemies sort of a bit secluded, and you can get surrounds on them, harass them with skirmishes, they're chasing you, do all sorts of nonsense like that. But actually just having a sturdy front line kind of works. Especially when you've got so many like heavily damaging tools in the front line, like Skrulk, the Doom Wheel, the Warlock Engineer. It really helps. So it's really quite unusual. I was very surprised by this, that the Black Orcs didn't just cleave through all the Stormvermin, because I'm sure they used to be able to do that. But no, apparently just a bit of support in the front line, and yeah, the Stormvermin will hold out long enough for the Black Orcs to get overwhelmed, which is pretty cool. So that was very unexpected. So yeah, Stormvermin might actually be worthwhile nowadays. So that's basically what I wanted to show you guys. Stormvermin. Turns out they're not crap. So that's fun. So let's look at the you know, breakdown here. So you can see, you know, in terms of kills, they actually got a fair few. I think a lot of those were against Night Goblins, but they clearly did some damage to the Black Orcs. The Black Orcs got a ton of kills, though, you know, they did kill a lot. But then I did have a lot more than them. You know, I had much greater numbers. I mean, look at that. I brought 1,600 units, despite the fact I'd brought all these expensive Stormvermin. Obviously, a lot of that was slaves, but still, like, it's crazy to think I could bring that many. You know, to bear against this guy. It's pretty mad. That is a huge army to say I actually went with an elite front line, and that's not something I've really tried with Skaven before. I've always just, you know, been in the sort of frame of mind of, hey, the Skaven, they're supposed to be fodder. You just charge them in, they'll do a lot of damage, you know, as they run in, but then they're going to run away again. But it's fine, because then you'll have units all over the place, and you can just surround everything and pick things off, use their mobility. You know, just be a pain in the ass until stuff dies, and you know, while you've got things like Skrulk and the Warlock Engineer just picking targets. But no, turns out frontline works, and I'm very surprised. Very surprised indeed. One thing to say though is, obviously, I think the Forest Goblins and you know, the Goblin Wolf Riders, I think these guys could have got a bit more work done. I think they could have got through the slaves if they just sort of focused, you know, with these guys. So if all these guys just attack one unit of slaves, those slaves would be wiped out straight away. And then he'd go to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one, use that maneuverability. So he could have wiped out all the slaves really quickly, could have taken out that Warp Lightning Cannon, you know, as soon as he'd found a gap. But yeah, I think he should have used these guys in unison, rather than running them all over the place. Because he let me just chase them, you know, with things. And then if he had these guys all rear charge some of the units, that could have really helped the Black Orcs out, you know. It would have really just ruined my morale. Because these guys don't have the best leadership, even though they are pretty sturdy, you know. It's more the fact they don't take a lot of damage quickly, so that doesn't affect their leadership as much. But, you know, they're still going to break from a load of rear charging. And the poison attacks as well from the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, that's going to help the Black Orcs keep pace with them, get a few more hits in, and get a load more killing done while they're fleeing. And obviously they'll have to flee through these guys, which don't have a lot of armor piercing, but they're still going to get some kills, you know, against helpless fleeing rats. So I think that's what he needed to do. I think he just needed to use his cavalry a little more effectively. But even then, you know, 4 Black Orcs in the front line, and these guys held up pretty well. So, very surprised by that. And I found it very interesting. So guys, if you found it interesting, then please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.